My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Wow, that's going to be the death of us, Mike. That opening with Shannon Sharp. Oh man! Hey everybody, welcome to Rush Hour. I'm with Michael Stewart. I'm Chris Rosa. We have our Rush Hour preview show, so we appreciate you stopping by. We're going to struggle to get through this preview show. 2-7 teams heading over to Germany. Wow, if you're a Giants fan or even a Panther fan, you're booking that trip, man. That's a rough rough go,
one.
Right?
Yeah, that's tough. This is the off air. I jokingly said to you, this is a big game for a lot of Giant fans.
Mm-hmm.
To see who gets the first round pick or close to it for the Giants here. So I hate to hear that, but the battle of Titans here. So we're gonna go over these two teams.
Yeah, we will, Mike. You know it. Hey, all right, everybody's filtering in right now. Bill Harnett, thanks, Bill. Man, we're feeling okay, right, Mike? We're so. How you feeling?
A long
Bill?
day.
Yeah,
that's
right. Hey, Cold, you're popping in nice and early. All right, my man. Welcome aboard, Jay Farries. Appreciate it, Jay. Yeah, of a turd sandwich. I got to post that up there. That's right, Jay. What a turd sandwich of a game for Europe. Oh man, who would have thought 2-7 going to Germany?
I got a question. I mean, the people who did the schedule, they couldn't have thought that these two teams would be like one of the top tier teams going into Week 10. Did they? How could you have thought that? I thought the Giants would be better than 2-7, yes, but I no way I thought I would think Carolina would be.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they thought that, and going to these games, or you see a lot of the fans going to the games over in Europe. They're representing so many teams, right, Mike? They're the fans, you see the jerseys of everybody. So the fact that it's Giants, Panthers, I don't think they probably care, but they root for so many different teams over there that just going to an NFL game in itself is probably a big deal. But, for the Giant fans that invested their money when the schedule came out, listen, you have a good time, doing the sights, but the game itself, it's a little anticlimactic at this point. But maybe the Giants come out with the win. Yeah.
Yeah, and what time will that game be on?
That's a 9:30 Eastern time game.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. You don't see a lot of the good different countries getting good games. Yeah, they don't have like very big marquee games, but you almost think the NFL is going to change that because their goal is to get an NFL team in Europe at some point. A lot of people thought it was Jacksonville with Khan, the owner, and maybe that may still happen because Jacksonville plays multiple games over there in England. So, we may see an NFL team there at some point. And if you're on the East Coast, it's a 6-hour trip. It's really the same if you're going to California or Washington State, Seattle. So I think it's just a matter of time, Mike, where we might see a team in Europe.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's going to happen. But I mean, every trip they take is going to be a long trip. Not, I know. Let's just say the Chargers play the Jets one week, but they may play Denver the following week, so it's closer for them. The next game. So
then you have to get a bye, or they'd have to work the schedule out. Almost like the Giants when they played Arizona and San Francisco last year. The Giants stayed out in California. Maybe it's something like that where they fly back to the East Coast and they play another team and stay local instead of going back, wherever they came from. But anyway, that's for another day. Well, I'm sure that'll get.
Oh boy,
that'll be.
Look at the last statement. Look at the last statement.
If I gave you guys true serum, would you say you would rather win or lose this game? Good question. I'm so sick of losing, man. Jay, I want to win. I really do.
Me too.
How about you, Mike?
Me too.
How about you, Jay? Let us know what you guys think. We're going to do a preview for the first 20, maybe 30 minutes, but then we're going to get into your questions. We'll talk about the state of the Giants moving forward, especially after the trading deadline. A lot of talk about Aziz, what's going to happen to him after the season. So let's dive in deep a little bit. Here we are going into week 10, and we'll keep it nice and light. And we won't spend that much time on this game with 2-2-7 teams, but we're going to touch upon it with some stats and what we think. But, good question, Jay. Let's put that out there for everybody. What does everybody want to see with this game? We'll just
Shawnee B, shout out.
Yeah, hey Shawnee, welcome, man. All right, Bill. From Bill. Well, we haven't had a lot in Europe so far, so here's hoping. Yeah, we haven't a lot in Europe. Yeah, we haven't had. If you're saying many games, few. And God, are the Giants undefeated? Because they. I feel like they've won every time they've played overseas.
Did they play Green Bay that time?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, we beat Aaron Rodgers, and that was the Joe Judge year, I think, right? Or no, that was the Dable year. That was 22.
His rookie
year. Yeah. And then obviously everybody remembers Eli, the Super Bowl year, going over there, and then obviously the Landon Collins, right? That wasn't that the other one? Landon Collins when he had that nice interception return was for the touchdown.
Oh, that was in Germany, huh?
Was that against Washington in Germany? I don't even remember. But anyway, I think they're 3-0. Maybe they're 3-0. One of you guys would know. Oh yeah, we haven't lost. Okay, yeah, that's what you meant, Bill. That's what I thought. Okay, haven't lost in Europe. Yeah. Hey, maybe the Giants should move over there then if we keep winning. Maybe that's the problem. We should be playing in Europe. Oh man. All right.
Let's get into this so we can. Yeah.
All right, let's extract the tooth, right? Let's pull the tooth out without the painkillers. Let's get this over with, and then we could move on. All right, Mike, you want me to kick it off with the team stats you said first?
Yeah, let's do that first.
All right, well, we're going to breeze through these, everybody. I mean, these team stats are very unappealing. You're looking at a Carolina team as well as the Giants at the bottom end, although the Giants do have some top, 15 stats, but let's just go over this fairly quickly. On offense, Giants a dismal 32nd in the league, 15 points a game. Carolina right behind them at 29, averaging 16 points a game. Total yards per game, Giants at 301, that's 26 in the league. Carolina at 278, that's 30 in the league, 30th. Passing yards per game, Giants at 191, that's 23rd. Carolina 176, that puts them at 30. Rushing yards per game, Giants have picked it up, the past few weeks as of late. Maybe not so much last week, but up until then, they're at 19. So almost, kind of almost half. 114 per game. Carolina, bottom, they're at 25 at 101 yards per game. Third down conversions on offense, both not good. Giants at 36%, that puts them at 22. Carolina at 32% puts them at 29. Red zone touchdowns, the Giants dead last, 40% red zone touchdowns at 32nd in the league. Carolina, surprisingly, at 63%. That puts them at 8. But once again, we don't know how many times they're actually in the red zone, too, because their offense stinks. So, that might be I don't have how many times they've actually had opportunities in the red zone inside the 20. Turnovers. Giants have turned the ball over 11 times, and that puts them at 6th highest in the league. And Carolina 15, that puts him at 3. And the differential, Giants at -4, Carolina -7. So turnover differential always plays a big part. So those are your offensive stats. Mike, you'll jump into the player stats, right? We'll hit those on the offense.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. We'll do the Giants first. Daniel Jones, of course, is a starter. And I know that's not going on a lot of fans, but Dable is committed to Daniel Jones. So he's right now closing on 1,900 yards passing, 8 TDs and 5 interceptions. We're getting to see like what we expected in the running game with the two-headed monster with Tracy and Singletary. Tracy picking up, right, the last few games. He's got 442 yards total and Singletary 283 combined. They're not a bad running back. They're at 725 right now.
Yeah, and Mike, last week I think Tracy was like number 5 or 6 in the league per average per rush at like 5 something. So 5.
Well, yeah, and the week before that he was at
Yeah.
7 something. He averaged. So he's doing a good job. And I think all of us said that here on the Rush. We all had high hopes for him as a rookie. We thought he'd do a good job contributing, and he's proven us dead on. He's done a great job as the rookie. Then you got Neighbors, of course, coming back, and then he's almost at 557, and Slayton picking it up. By the way, he's at 469. He averages the most yards per catch, at almost 15.
Right, and it looks like he's going to be out. It looks like a good chance, more than 50-50, he'll be out on Sunday with the concussion protocol. So
yeah, they haven't cleared him, right?
Yeah, it hasn't progressed as quickly as he hoped, so he might be sitting out this one. And I believe the Giants leave tomorrow too, so I don't even know if he gets on the plane. But
right, and you know what I didn't put in here, but I want to bring it up. We saw last week on the Giants one of their touchdowns, something that we haven't seen in a very long time, and I'm a big fan of it, is the seam pass with the tight end.
It's an ongoing joke amongst all Giant fans, right? It's far and few between.
Yep, and that was beautiful watching that. I think
the last time I saw a seam pass was Larry Donnell back in 20.
That's right, going way back when he had like 3 touchdowns, right? Larry Donnell.
Larry Donnell.
Man, you're going back.
Once a Giant, always a Giant. Hell of a blocker too, right, everybody? Hell of a blocker.
So now we look at the Panthers offensive side. And, you know, they had issues with the quarterback position. Young got benched, and Andy Dalton came in. Now they got Bryce Young playing again. He played last week. He's up to almost 700 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 6 INTs. So you got to look at that, folks. You know, Giants lead the league in sacks. So that could be a vital part of this game. We'll get into that later on. They got Hubbard, which I was shocked when I saw this because they only average 101 yards a game. Hubbard's averaging almost 74 yards a game. And that's pretty impressive if you consider if he was fully healthy and played a full season with that. He would have almost 1,300 yards rushing.
Yeah, I mean, he's at 665 right now. So,
and that's pretty impressive.
Pretty good. He's going to hit 1,000. Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty impressive.
Hey, by the way, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Thanks for jumping in, man. We see you. Thanks for stopping by.
And of course, he has 5 touchdowns to go along with that. So, although the Giants are averaging more per game, don't overlook the Panthers' running attack. Because Hubbard's a pretty good, solid running back. He always has been, not an elite player, but a very serviceable one.
Sure.
Now, here's what's interesting me. I'm looking at the wide receivers for the Carolina, and they got Deontay Johnson leading them. He's got 357 yards. Then you got the tight end, the rookie out of Texas.
Tremble?
No, Sanders. Sanders.
Ja'Tavion Sanders. Right. Tremble was the starter. He's hurt.
Right.
Okay.
And he's picked up the last few games, 245 yards. And he also got the young guy out of South Carolina, Xavier Leggett. He hasn't gotten a lot of yards in terms of per catch, but the kid has 4 touchdowns as a rookie.
Mike, let me ask something. The left tackle, Ikwanu, he came out did he come out with the Charles Cross and Evan Neal draft?
Boy, let me think.
Wasn't he one of the other tackle guards that was also in the talks of being drafted?
Yes, he was out of NC State. I think he was out of NC State.
Right. I haven't followed him. Have you heard anything about him? Or does anybody know how? Obviously, the Carolina Panthers, the offense.
I haven't followed him either.
Yeah,
but I liked him. I liked him coming to college. I did.
Because I think that was the big 3, right, Mike? It was Cross, Ikwanu, and Neal. Those were the 3 that they talked about.
Yeah. And I did like him. He was more athletic. That was his vibe. They talked about him. He's very athletic for a tackle. And you can see a lot of these guys, I don't know how well he's doing. I know that it takes time for a lot of certain players to develop. So some guys pick it up quickly, like what's his name? the kid out of Tampa who I like a lot, Tristan Wirth. I liked him a lot, and he certainly has done everything everyone expected of him. So when I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers, I look at their offense. This is something where the Giants can really can go after them, and I wouldn't be if I was Bowen, I would not be cautious to the win. I would put my ears back and go after the quarterback on this team.
Yep. And just keep in mind, Mike, Deontay Johnson was traded by the deadline. He went to the Ravens.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There we go. I was too busy working. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that happened. Well, it was a bunch yesterday, but that was one of them.
Wow. Okay. Did they get anybody?
I think they got a 2025 pick.
So they get for picks.
Yes, I forget. Maybe it was like a fourth or something, fifth. Couple of receivers, even a John Mingo, who was highly touted. Cowboys gave up like a fourth for him, and he hadn't even scored a touchdown. Mingo.
Wow. Interesting.
With
You got
the
a
Panthers.
4th round pick, huh?
Yeah, something like that, 4th round, and I don't think he. And you're talking about a Panthers team doesn't score points, and they couldn't even. He hasn't done anything with them the past couple of years. I believe he hadn't scored an NFL touchdown while he's been in the league.
Wow.
But you would think the Cowboys, not to get off the subject here, but the Cowboys would go for a running back instead of a receiver. That's what they really need. They need a running back with Dowdle to help him out. Their running game's terrible. But anyway, go ahead, Mike.
No. I think let's cover the team stats defensively.
Yeah, we'll do the defensive stats, and we'll jump right in here too. Kwanu 70 PFF. The PFF's interesting, Jay. I take it with a grain of salt, but interesting. So we can't even say what PFF would give Neal because he hasn't gotten on the field. But you know what, Jay? If you have that, because you just ran that stat, or if anybody, I'm curious about Charles Cross with Seattle. What's his PFF grade this year? Because those were the Cross, Kwanu, and Neal. So I'd be curious to see what the Cross is. So if you have that, Jay, that'd be great. See what PFF grades Cross. Wow, Matt Pert. Yeah, I know. Matt Pert is with oh God, who do you end up with? He got picked up by not the Bengals. He got picked up. He's definitely playing. I saw him with the team on the field.
I don't want to hear any Giant fans saying we should not got rid of Matt Pert. Look what he's doing now, please.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Pert is with Broncos. That's where he's with. That's where we saw him. Saw him with the Broncos when he played against the Jets. I saw him out there. Right. All right. Let's go over some defensive stats. Let's extract the other tooth and get this over with. All right, defense. All right, this is what's being allowed by both defenses. The Giants are allowing 22 points per game. It's kind of changed a little bit. They were a little bit higher or lower. Now they're at 15. Carolina giving up 32 points a game on average. That's 32nd in the league. Boy, this is going to be interesting.
Wow.
The Giants can't score that much, and they give up points, so something will give. Yards per game, Giants are allowing 334 yards. That puts them at 18. Carolina at 392. That puts them at 32. Passing yards allowed per game, Giants 191. Not bad. And that puts them at 9. Big help is that pass rush still leading the league. And Carolina giving up 232 yards in passing yards. That puts him at 5. So maybe Neighbors has a big day. We'll see. And the tight ends. But rushing yards per game, Giants are giving up 191. So they've fallen even a little further back. That puts them at 23. Carolina giving up 176. That puts them at 23. The Giants at 191 rushing yards per game puts them at 30. So Giants are at the bottom. Carolina's not far behind. Red zone defense, Giants are at 9, not bad, 33%. Carolina 48%. That puts them at 32. Takeaways, Giants at 7. Takeaways on defense, Carolina at 8. Both middle of the pack, 12 and 11. little, top end maybe. Sacks, Giants still holding at 35 sacks, leading the league. That puts them at number 1. And Carolina with 10 sacks. That puts them at 31, which we've seen that before, which means they'll probably get 2 or 3, and they'll move up in the 20s. The Panthers. They'll probably get a few sacks.
Oh, yep. It's going to be interesting to see the red zone.
Yeah, especially the left tackle position, right? It's not looking good, Mike, with Hubbard. And obviously Azudu was in there, and they're not playing Neal at all. But so that's where we're at with the team stats. Everybody can see that we're kind of middle of the, or excuse me, bottom half of everything, other than sacks and maybe a little bit of the red zone D and passing yards, which the pass rush. Yeah.
Yeah, just go over more stuff. I got to check something real quick. Just go.
You're leaving me?
Yeah, hold on 1 minute.
I hope there's not a fire, everybody. Jeez. All right, Mike just took off and left. So, you know what? We'll wait for Mike with some of the team stats, or excuse me, the player stats, and then we'll put that to rest and talk about the game real quick, and then move on to bigger and better things. Let's see what everybody else is putting here. The Giants were scared to play these guys, and now they are good. That's what Jay says. Pert was awful here. Yep. He was. You're right, Shawnee. It seems like when guys leave, they play better other places, but just sometimes it's time for a change, right? Let's see what else. Cold. Oh, wow, Cold. Not holding back. This game is the shitty bowl. Yeah, kind of. Would be cool if we can call it the beer bowl. We're being in Germany with the beer, and could be that could have been cool. Oh, the draft bowl. There you go, Sean. Kind of. Let's see what Jay has here. The totality of what I am saying is that we have have system top to down. I think you're saying problems. That's why guys can't develop or go elsewhere and become decent players. Well, you know what's interesting with that, Jay? When you look at the coaching staff itself, with Jerome Henderson as defensive backs, Andre Patterson on defensive line, Mike Groh as the wide receiver coach, comes with a lot of coaching experience, especially with his dad. Even with Shea Tierney, been in with Dable all these years, and he's obviously you could see his name a couple years ago when Jones was playing well. His name was being thrown around as an offensive coordinator. In fact, he was the offensive coordinator for one of the college bowls, All-Star Bowl games. But, I don't know, Jay, man. That's interesting. We always see that with the Giants for years. Sometimes guys leave and they develop elsewhere. When Coughlin was around, everybody remembers, Coughlin didn't play a lot of the rookies, right? He would want to play a lot of the veterans, a lot more guys, and he'd ease the rookies into the lineup. Whereas with Dable, you don't see that as much. You see a lot of rookies getting action. I mean, thankfully, Drew Phillips has had an opportunity. He's played well. So obviously Tracy. But you see guys get more of an opportunity with this coaching staff than maybe with the previous ones. But yeah, we've always talked about the development with the Giants, that they seem like it's slow moving with a lot of the middle round picks, and then they fizzle out. But then again, maybe they just aren't good picks. I mean, Matt Pert, how good is he, right? I mean, he's playing with the Broncos, but is he really playing that well? I haven't followed every snap of his, but he definitely has an opportunity. And that's what's just interesting about Evan Neal, Mike. We're just talking about players developing when they leave the Giants. What's interesting is when Evan Neal, that time comes when he leaves, he won't be out of the league. He'll either be resigned as a guard, or he'll be get a shot at a tackle spot. It'll be interesting to see how he plays somewhere else. Sometimes a change of scenery. And Daniel Jones, for that matter. He'll be a backup somewhere. Quarterback will get hurt. He'll get his opportunity, and just another place with a fresh system may do him better. So, we have some guys to keep an eye on once they get out of New York. But all right, Mike, everything was all right, under control.
Well, I'm working in my office in the golf shop here, so I'm hearing noises.
Okay.
Coming from the cart barn, so I don't know what that is. So that's why I'm sorry.
All right.
No,
man, you got to keep an eye on things, man. You got to.
Yeah. So just I don't know where you were with everything. I was just going to go over the.
Yep, we just went over the team stats. And hey, one second, Mike. Good point, Sean. And and a lot of us that follow our New York teams, we know this seems to be the case. Some people can't handle New York, and now we finally have a good line coach. The O-line isn't an issue this season. I agree with you, Sean. Guys just sometimes don't work out. I mean, Illuminor, he's better than advertised. And Runyon and Van Roten have played well, but that the depth on the left tackle, Andrew Thomas going down, that was definitely a major issue. We're playing a guy that was on a practice squad who came undrafted. I mean, Hubbard. Interesting enough, Mike. Do you remember Hubbard when he played at Alabama? The left, Chris Hubbard, who's our left.
Yeah, vaguely. I'll be honest.
So everybody, this makes your this makes your head spin. We have Evan Neal, who came out of Alabama, right? Top 7 pick, right? 7th pick.
Right.
He can't get on the field as a number 1 pick, top 7. Here's Chris Hubbard, who came from Alabama and was undrafted out of Alabama. He hooked on the teams as an undrafted free agent, and he's starting at left tackle and started over 60 games in the NFL. So
could that be somebody who has good work ethic, possibly? Who works hard in practice?
Possibly. Maybe it makes up for the athletic ability that he has.
That's right.
He's a smart player, and unfortunately, now that he's older, around the edge, he's getting beat, and he needs help. But I found that interesting that Neal, top 7 pick, can't get on the field, and here's Hubbard, undrafted out of the same school, and he started over 60 games, and he's been in the league for 10, 12 years. But all right, enough of that. Go ahead, Mike. Hit us up with your player stats when you're ready.
Well, we'll go with the Giants first. Defensively, Of course, when you talk about the Giants, you always start with Dexter Lawrence. Still has 9 sacks and leads the team in tackles for loss as well. And you're going to have Azeez Ojulari with 6 and Brian Burns with 5. Those are the key guys for the Giants to put the pressure on Young for this week, and I think they're going to. Then you can look at another thing I noticed with them. They got Lawrence, Ojulari, and Burns are tied, like I said, with tackles for loss. They all have 7 each. So they're getting penetration. They're making plays behind the line of scrimmage. Is what you want to see. I mentioned to you last week about leading teams in tackles, and I want to see, if I was the Giants, I want to see my 2 inside linebackers lead the teams in tackle. Mm-hmm. To me, that would tell me everybody else is doing their job, and the Giants are still making plays. And right now, you got Bobby Okereke and McFadden are 1 and 2 in the Giants in tackles. So, and like I said last week, I think that trend is going to continue, and they're going to end up leading the team in tackles. And then if you look at the Panthers defense, it's really not much there. They got the kid Xavier Woods, who leads them in tackles. Linebacker, I think he is. Or no, he's I think he's a safety, right, safety. Then you have second is a kid, Michael Jackson, cornerback. And that's what you don't want to see, your safety and cornerbacks leading team in tackles. Mm-hmm. That's telling me that teams are getting them running the ball pretty well, getting past the front 7. And you don't want to see that. I think they only have 10 sacks as a team. I think you mentioned that. And Charles Harris, linebacker, has 3 of them. He also leads the team in tackles for loss with 4. So this is a team that's struggling on both sides of the ball. And if you're a Giant fan, this is a perfect team for them to play, where they can get well real quick and pull off a win here.
Yeah, and the fact that the Panthers are giving up 176 yards on the ground, this could be another Tracy type game, right? Yeah, Tracy and Singletary. I think the Vulcans get touches just like they did last week, along with a little bit of RPOs with Jones. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me if Jones runs for 30 to 40 yards. That wouldn't shock me. I think it's going to be a game where the Giants are going to want to establish a running game. So, and I think the Panthers need to do the same thing with Hubbard. Yeah.
So, and we'll talk the keys of the game. That's definitely in that I have.
Yeah, for sure. And an old friend, Ashawn Robinson, is with the Panthers, and that would have been a guy that we could have, would have been a nice move if they could have kept him this year at the Giants, because he did a heck of a job against the run. He played really well.
Older guy. Do you know how much money he signed for?
I don't know.
$5 million?
Then we'd have to look that up, but maybe somebody could look that up, or we could look that up. But yeah, he's yeah, they have him listed in the 3-4 on as the left defensive end. But he was good against the run, right, Mike? Hey, Sean, he did pretty well.
He was.
Took a little time to get going, but I think he solidified helping out in the running game in the middle. But
yeah, I'm looking at the comments. If Jay's correct, $7 million, you couldn't keep him.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You couldn't keep him.
Wow, that is. Yeah.
3 for 21. I see it. Okay.
Yeah. 3 for 21. Wow. Yeah, Cole, man, I'm with you. I wish they would have, but that is a lot. Wow, Ashawn got $7 million. God bless him. That's a nice. I wonder how much is that? It's guaranteed, because that's where the money, all the guarantees. But wow, that's good for him. Good for his agent. His agent did a heck of a job on that one.
Yeah, really.
Well, that's Tepper, right? The owner. He throws money around. And that's probably some of their problems too. And they're constantly rehashing and changing things over in Carolina and rebooting. But all right, Mike. So looking at this game as we move forward, and we'll talk about the what went on with the deadline yesterday and some other things. But moving on with the game, what are you reading? I see you smiling, Mike. What happened?
Nothing. Nothing. I'm getting ready to do the keys of the game. This is
okay. Do the keys.
Big game you all been waiting for.
All right.
So with the Giants, I think their offense, they need to have a balance. This is very, very cliche-ish, guys. I'm sorry, but they need to continue running the football and then throw the ball off that. The Giants play better when they do that, I think. And again, I think you're going to see Tracy have another good game. I think you're going to see him break a few tackles. Average, like you said, the last 2 games, he's averaged over 7 and over 5. Mm-hmm. So I think he'll continue that trend this week against a team that's really struggles against the run. It wouldn't shock me if the Giants ran for 150 yards total with everybody involved. And then when you look at the Giants on defense, I want to see the pass rush. I want to see Bowen just let them loose. Let's be creative. Let's go right after this guy, Young. Let him beat us. Let Young beat us. Go after him. Mm-hmm. He's not. He's got some legs. He does, but he's not Jalen Daniels. He's not the other elite running Lamar Jackson. Go after him.
And Mike, to your point, we're going to give him credit. They won last week, and he had a decent game, right? And they beat the Saints, which probably cost Dennis Allen to lose his job. But kudos to the Panthers, for actually beating the Saints, who were kind of 2-0 to start the season, beating up on the Cowboys and a couple. And
what happened to them?
Wins, but,
what happened to them?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, I guess like they say in the beginning of the season, your true colors after that first month come out. The cream rises to the top, and you see the teams that were kind of imposters and fakes that kind of go back to where they should be. So it's probably the Saints.
Yeah,
they've been in salary cap hell themselves for a while now. Yeah,
and lastly, my third thing with the Giants, I think they need to make big plays on both sides of the ball. We talk about the turnovers. The Giants have only got 1 interception. I think we're going to get an interception this week. I see it coming. Yeah. I think the Giants will get their second, maybe their third interception this week against the Panthers.
Yeah,
that's what you got to see from the Giants side. With the Panthers, they have to run the football, I think, to make everything else work. So I think that's for them.
Yeah. And you know what, Mike? It's time for Jason Pinnock to pick up his game. I mean, he's not the same guy we saw last year, even the year before. It's time for Jason Pinnock to show himself and show up and play like we were, we were raving about this guy a couple of years ago, how the Jets tried to stash him on the practice squad and clear waivers. Right. Giants, good job by player personnel and Joe Shane to grab him. And boy, we thought we had a gem there. And now it's like I'm not sure what his contract is if he has another year, but
I think it's walk year. Isn't this last year?
Might be it. And I'll tell you, the way he's playing, that could be somebody that they could just fill a spot next year and not really have to be so concerned because he hasn't shown much this year. His tackling, I don't think he has any interceptions yet, but his angles are terrible. I don't know what's happened to him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good. That's a good point. Getting back with the Panthers, the Giants have done a great job. They actually won last week. They had time of possession. They actually had the ball longer than the Commanders. And I think the Panthers need to do that this week against the Giants. They need to have win that battle, time of possession, to keep the Giants. It sounds funny, keep the Giants offense off the field, but with their defense, I think the Giants are a much better offensive team going against that defense. And then when you look at the Panthers defense collectively now, I'm not talking about one particular player. Mm-hmm. I think for them to do well, they need a team effort. Collectively, everybody needs to do a good job, and they need to put pressure on Jones. Only 10 sacks all year. They have to put pressure on Jones, and because even Daniel Jones, if you give him time, he will get the ball to his receivers. I know there might be some Giant fans smirking at that one, but if you give any quarterback time, he will find a receiver.
Yeah, it was the tale of two halves last week. Terrible in the first half, and the second half he played really well. And maybe this opens things up for the tight end. Like you said earlier, Mike, with Theo Johnson, the seam pass. Maybe now this gets Theo Johnson more involved into the passing game. Now that we're at the halfway mark, and you always hear coaches say, once you get towards the end of the season, the rookies aren't rookies anymore. They've played enough. Well, Theo Johnson's been out there since day one. So maybe it's time for Theo Johnson. He starts to, show us Giant fans what we're expecting from him a little bit more consistently. And maybe Theo Johnson becomes a part of a big part of the game this week.
Yeah, and you made a comment about Larry Donnell, having 3 touchdowns the last scenes, but the Giants had touchdowns last week from 2 tight ends. Mm-hmm. When was the last time the Giants got touchdowns from 2 touchdowns from the tight end position? It might have been when Larry Donnell. And
who was the other tight end? Oh, he was a big, stocky guy. He was kind of
he was from Stony Brook.
You know what? Yes, I think was his number 45. I know Shawnee knows this, and you guys know this. You know what I'm talking about. He showed flashes like, oh, look at this guy. He wasn't built like a tight end. He was more like built like a fullback. But he did well when he was out there. I thought he shared time with Donnell when he was out there.
I think you're right. He wasn't bad sometimes.
No.
Will Tide.
Hey, Shawnee B. Shawnee B.
He's quick with those fingers.
Good job, Sean. That just shows how sick you are in the head to know that off like in 2 seconds. I'm sure the rest of you were ready to spit it out. Will Tye. That's right. Will Tye. Wasn't bad at all.
Well, this is what we're going to see for this game. We joke about it, but looking at the comments, I see a lot of guys want to see the Giants lose.
We've been down this road so many years, right?
I know.
And we're just at the point in the season, everybody, where this all starts to happen. That's the topic of conversation. Do they tank this and that? But
don't say that word. Please.
Yeah, I know. The players don't tank. I go, management, some organizations, they'd rather the coach not play the best guys because of that reason. But Bill Polian on XM Radio, he talks about this. He says, the players want to play because they're looking for their next job. Everything's on tape. Coaches want to win. This is their resume too. They want to win. Management, front office, don't play the starters. Don't play some of these guys. Let the young guys play. And it's the tale of two storylines, two thoughts from both. But as a fan, I just can't take the losing anymore. I'd rather them win. But the draft doesn't guarantee anything. We've seen that before too. So
we've seen that many times. There's no guarantees in the draft.
No. Look at Colt. We've been losing, so why would we expect to win? No, we're not. Yeah, I'm not. Colt. It's almost like I hate to say it, when you beat a dog or you're smacking him around and we're in the corner, like we're waiting to get hit again. Like we've been beaten up so many times as Giant fans. It's they got to show us something. And, it's funny, Colt. I got to tell Colt the story. And you guys, the Giants have actually been pretty good on third down on defense this year, but there were times when they were horrible the last few years, right, Mike? Getting off on third down, And Sean, you were at the game with me, the first game. On third down, they'll have Justin Tucker Strahan on the jumbo screen, and they'll say, "Get up, it's third down." There's times where the fans and all of us say, "No, we're not getting up this time. We were up through this whole drive on third down. No, show us something, and then we'll get up." We refuse to get up because we were up so many times on these third downs, and they always get it. They always get it. And it's like, how many conversions on third down? And you get to a point where you're like, I'm sick of it. I'm sitting until you prove to me you could stop them on third down.
Yeah, very.
So you're right, Cole. We are sick of it.
So let's talk a little about why do we think, and I know some of the answers are obvious. Why do you think Shane didn't pull trigger for any trade?
Why don't we do a prediction, Mike, before we turn the page on this game?
Okay.
You keys and let's give me your prediction.
Okay.
I'll do mine. Anybody else want to throw it out there, and then we'll put a bow on it. And for the last 20 minutes, we'll just keep an open forum here on. All
right, I'm gonna come across like a moron here, but what else is new, right? I think the Giants are going to play a great game. I think they're going to come out and score 24 plus points. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to finally win, and it won't be by field goal. They're going to win 27-13. I'm going with that.
What was the final score, Mike?
27-13.
Wow, 27 points. Okay. Well, they are averaging giving up 30. I think we said 32, Carolina. So yeah, you'd be right on target with that. And the Giants are averaging 15, so they need to almost put up another extra 10 points. But there's been times where the Giants should have scored and they didn't. So maybe this is the game. Okay. So 20, would you say 27, 24?
27-13. And I'm gonna throw another one out there. The Giants are gonna do a play where the replay is going to show there should have been a penalty and they didn't get called on it. Finally, I'm throwing it all out there now.
Oh man, Cold says I don't know how the Panthers are rolling in with that 1-game winning streak. I know it's. I would love to have a 1-game winning streak. All right, Mike. I don't know if I'm going to go with the Giants. I mean, I have a feeling that. Yeah. What happened?
No, you're going to go with the Panthers. Okay.
No, I do think the Giants are going to win this game. I just feel like I feel like the Panthers, they won last week, took a little pressure off them, and I do have a feeling the Giants are going to win. I'm going to say 23-16 Giants, just for the simple fact that their roster's better than the Panthers. They'll make better mistakes. At least less mistakes,
right.
And I think the pass rush will get the Bryce Young, and I think that'll be the difference. But hey, we've been wrong before. But I think the Giants do win this game. But all right, and I think the running game is going to be big. To your point, Mike, I think the running game is going to be big, and on defense, pass rush is going to be the key, and especially with the secondary, some changes there in the secondary for the Giants, but. All right, let's turn the page. We got just about 20 minutes left or so, but we'll take some comments. And Mike, go ahead. You wanted to touch upon the Aziz non-trade, and everybody was kind of wondering what was going to happen. Go ahead, Mike.
So I know we spoke about this off air, and you said that all Shane was getting was 5th round, possibly 6th round.
That was the word that you've heard from some of the guys on the beat. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense. The kid's only 24 years old. He's already had an 8-sack season under his belt as a rookie. Mm-hmm. He's on pace to surpass that this year. I got to tell you, I'm glad they didn't trade him. I'm glad they didn't.
Not for that either. No.
Now they got to sign him though. I think by doing that he's got to sign him.
Yeah, and I think
more so than Slayton, but I think he's got to sign Ojulari.
Yeah, and it was it Zarius Smith who went to Detroit?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I was kind of thinking maybe Aziz would be the guy in Detroit that they would try and.
What did they get for Smith? What did they give up?
Boy, I want to say they got like a 4th, and he's an older player too, right?
Yeah, but he's got more established, right?
He does. Yeah. Everybody knows Zarius Smith trade.
No, it's a real golf.
Zarius Smith from the Browns, right? Not the
golf club.
Yeah, what was that? Was that a fourth? Oh wow, and a 20. Our trading passer. Yeah, they got
What was it?
and a 27 pick. Detroit Lions, and the Lions are also Lions are also getting back a seventh rounder. But what did
Oh,
they give up? But Detroit, a fifth. They got a fifth, which
oh,
kind of
fifth.
goes along the lines of what we heard about Aziz. I guess these pass rushers, what was out there, pretty comparable. But yeah, I'm happy too, Mike. Just like Jay even said right here, it was. Yeah, I know. I'm butchering names, Cold. I know, man. I know. It's been a long day.
I got.
Cold's always. The trade market was weak, and yeah, it was. It was definitely a buyer's market for sure. But go ahead, Mike.
No. Jay asked a question, non-football. He asked about graphite shafts, and he wants to know: does graphite shafts wear out, or is that a manufacturer scam?
Oh.
There's no right or wrong answer to this, Jay. It all depends on the manufacturer, what happens. I mean, I've had clubs that I just got, and I don't have graphite. I have steel shafts, but that I had, and in one swing, something happens. Or I've had clubs that last for years and years, no problem. So it just comes with the how they made, the quality of the material. There's really no right or wrong answer to that.
Hey,
Sorry
Cold,
about that.
two names. That was good. Good lesson there. Hey, Cold, I'm going to give you two names I won't butcher. Osi Umenyiora and Matthias Kiwanuka. Two important names I won't butcher, but you're right.
It's amazing. He says those names so flawlessly, and he can't say Van Rotten.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's new. He's not a household name. If he had a couple Super Bowls under his belt like those guys, different story.
Yeah, but
go ahead, Mike.
And did you hear anything on Slayton? Was there any interest on Slayton? Did we read anything about him?
I didn't hear anything on Slayton. Maybe
doesn't that tell you something? Doesn't that tell you something? Why wouldn't it be interest in Slayton?
Well, I thought a couple of weeks ago, before the DeAndre Hopkins trade with Kansas City, I thought maybe Slayton could be an option with Kansas City. But remember, he's in concussion protocol as well. That might have spooked a few teams.
Maybe
it just wasn't the right week to. But I can't see Slayton getting more than a 6 anyway, right?
Yeah,
we need him. Might as well just keep him. I mean, the Giants have been terrible with their mid to late round picks anyway. So you might as well just keep them. We need bodies, right? We need somebody out there to help this offense, even if they are 2-7. But
he's right. Jay's right though. He says us Giants fans generally overrate our players. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and you know what? We hear all the great stuff in training camp. This guy's doing this. This guy's doing that, and we hype these guys up in training camp, and they're playing against each other. The offense, defense, and then they get into these scrimmages and games, and they come back down to earth. And hey, case in point, Trey Hawkins last year, right, became a starter because of a great preseason. It's been hard for him to even find the field, but they were hyping him up. Oh, Old Dominion, right? What a find in the 6th round. I mean, we were like, who is this guy? And he after that Cowboy game, he didn't see
too found out who he was.
Injuries, he didn't come out. But you're right, Jay. We do generally hype, but maybe that's a lot of fan bases too nowadays because of social media, all the outlets, all the videos. I mean, they're showing guys working out all the time. So maybe that's a lot. It's not just the Giant fans, but it's a lot of fan bases, just because we're the accessibility to all the videos nowadays and all the updates. So, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I just think the Giants. It's not like the Giants probably didn't want to be sellers, but I just think they they're not going to just give players away. I totally agree not giving away. Wait a second here.
Good point, Cold. I'm high on Chapman too, and you know what? I still think he's going to be a good player. Another year.
Cole, if he is the second coming of John Randall, talk about the greatest.
I never said that.
UDFA signing the Giants have ever had. If he ends up like John Randall, for God's sakes,
that would be half of that would be awesome.
What
And
a player! What a player he was.
Let Jerome Henderson work with him, or excuse me, Andre Patterson, another year, another offseason. Hey, I think you're going to see him more in the rotation next year with Dex. I really do. Guy's the strongest on the team, low pad level, even though he's short, but that works to his advantage, lower pad level. And I think another year, he knows the NFL game another year. I think next year is going to be something to look forward to with him. But, yeah, so Mike, with Azeez, the question remains now going into next year of May of 25, or not 25, actually next after the season, picking up of the 25 season, going into 26, going to have to think about picking up the option, the 5th-year option on Thibodeau, if they do that, which they probably would, I would think. But maybe Azeez, there is some talks before he hit free agency and try and sign him to maybe a 2-year deal, 3-year deal. I'm sure he's going to want guaranteed money up front, but let's see how he plays healthy. If he can finish out the rest of the season, if he gets 6 sacks, right? See if he can play out the rest of the season healthy. What's your feeling, Mike, on a 2 or 3 year deal with Azeez?
Yeah.
Could be in that 7 to 10 million range, maybe.
Yeah, listen. If he finishes strong, Chris, and with double digits, close to, because he's on his way, obviously, with 7 games left.
Mm-hmm.
He's on his way, or 8 games left.
Yeah, he was going to hit 10, maybe. He's going to come
Yeah,
close.
if he gets double digits and shows that he can stay healthy, the market's going to definitely warrant, $8 to $10 million per year. Maybe some teams comes in with a little bit more of a signing bonus, but if I was him, I would not accept anything less than a 2 to 3 year deal. If a team like the Giants offer him a 1-year deal, there's no way I would take that.
Yeah,
Nope.
And the scary part is teams need pass rushers. That's such a commodity, and he's going to hit the market, and there's going to be teams that are going to throw money at him. Just look at the Commanders. I think the Commanders have something like 60, 70 million under the cap. And that's a team, that I wouldn't be surprised up front to play with Payne and Allen on the edge. That could be nice. So I don't know. I'm just throwing a team out there that has cap money. They have money to spend. They're a team that could pay him 10 to 15 a year.
Who drafted his brother?
Was that Detroit as well? Did he go to? No. I gotta look that up.
I'm usually pretty good at this, guys, but I'm sorry I don't know. Who drafted Azeez's brother? Anybody know?
Did he go to Detroit?
Look it up real quick.
Yeah. And while we're doing that, Mike, Nick McLeod was cut. That's more like a salary cap move. I mean, I don't know. They want to save $1 million and change, and they kind of had it with him. Other than special teams play, he wasn't performing well when he's out there on the other, on the other boundary. Were you surprised that they cut Nick McLeod?
Yeah, I didn't know he was playing that poorly to get cut. I know he got some lashes last week against the Commanders. So,
Mm-hmm.
but listen, it's football. People get release cut every week. It really,
yeah. Ojulari with Arizona. Good job, Jay. That's where he's at.
Arizona. Okay.
Yep. And you know what, Mike? It's just the Giants are so thin at the cornerback position that they let go of McLeod, who's a veteran. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like just a money move, just to save a couple bucks on the cap. Art Green was promoted from the practice squad, so he's on the 53. He's only played a handful of NFL games. He played against Cincinnati, I thought, and played well. So maybe they see something in him. And you might look to see Greg Stroman, who actually played well against Pittsburgh on the practice squad. He may get moved up, in my opinion, to 53 at some point. I believe he has 2 more moves. You get to move 3 elevations from the practice squad to the 53. So he has 2 more moves, I believe. So I wouldn't be surprised now that McLeod's gone. You could see some juggling with the DBs, and maybe he gets moved to 53. So that's that. And just some house cleaning, guys, just so everybody's up to date. The Giants opened the window with Jamie Gillian, the punter, and Graham Gano, the 30-day window. So they've been activated to practice. The Giants have 30 days to activate them to the roster. However, the fact they let it go, the punter Hawk, whatever you pronounce it, I would think Gillian's going to punt this weekend. He'll leave tomorrow. And then Joseph is still on the team. So maybe tomorrow they make a decision with Gano if Gano is activated. So that could happen tomorrow because the Giants leave tomorrow, Mike. So they're going to get on a plane and head over to Munich, Germany. So I think tomorrow we're going to see it's almost going to be like the Friday tomorrow. We're going to see a lot of movement with the roster and guys being added and brought if anybody moves up from the practice squad. And we'll see what happens with Gillian and Gano. The punter Hawk, he did clear waivers. He's back on the practice squad just in case. So there we go. One last thing, everybody. I'll go over just injuries. Limited play here today. Let's see. What do we have? I think we said that. Let's see. Guys that didn't practice today. Bryce Wheaton. Dexter Lawrence was a rest day. Nothing there. He gets a veteran rest day. Slayton, concussion protocol. And Van Roten has a shoulder. He was out today. Mike, quick question before we head out and anybody out there. Bryce Wheaton, now that the Giants are 2-7, Hyatt, I don't know how many times they're going to throw him out there and he's not doing anything. Do you start to think we may see Bryce Wheaton or anybody out there a little bit more in the offense now? And
I would
2-7,
I would,
what he can do?
Yeah, I would love to. I like that kid, Bryce Wheaton. I like him out of college. I know he was a UDFA with the Giants. He's got nice size, good speed, strong kid. I would like to see him get a shot and see what he can do. What do you have to lose? I mean, that's like the same way with Evan Neal. I don't understand why they're not letting him play. Let's see what he has. We're 2-7.
Yeah, I keep saying it, Mike, and everybody. This is Evan Neal has turned into the Kenny Golladay situation where we were saying guys come from the practice squad and Richie James on the field. And we would say, if everybody remember, how bad is Kenny Golladay? Is he dogging it in practice? Is he not running good routes? Is he just doesn't want to be there? And then you would hear him in the locker room, and he actually he would never trash the coaches. He would never throw anybody under the bus. He was actually sounded like a stand-up guy, and even though he wasn't playing. But Evan Neal, same situation. There's no clarity, and they don't have to give us reasons, but it's just mind-boggling if they feel like he's fallen off that much and can't even get on the field to play a snap. Especially in a game a couple of weeks ago when they were getting beat up by the Eagles, Mike. How does Evan Neal not get in the game when the Giants are getting their butt kicked by the Eagles? Put him in.
I don't know.
Let Drew Lock get killed, right? I understand Jones, but Drew Lock's in there. Put him in there with Drew Lock.
Yeah. I mean, I still wouldn't limit Hyatt. I let him get some snaps since Slayton's not going to be in there. Why not? Yeah. Let's go vertical a couple of times. Let's see what happens. At least if you decide to get rid of him and he moves on and hooks up with a team and does fairly well, forget it. Twitter's going to be all blown up. You're going to have fans going nuts.
Sean, and I used to agree with that. Sean saying, I think they want to make sure he's 100% ready to go to protect him. I get it, but why the hell is he activated? He shouldn't even be on the active roster. I don't know if he was last week, if he was not activated, but the whole season he hasn't been. He's been on the 53 and he was active for pretty much every game. So if that's the case, I mean, don't even make him active. But I mean, how long is this? I mean, this is crazy, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm not at the practice. I wish I was able to watch their practices and watch these guys.
Yeah, well, they cut out the team portion anyway to the media during season, so they don't even get to see it. They just hear, what the coaches tell them. But yeah, Golladay was a good dresser too. You're right, Jay. They would dress him too, and we'd think, all right, maybe we're going to see something. And until the Eagle game at the last game of the season when he caught a touchdown pass, that was about it. Wow, man, it's just a lot of similarities with both situations.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but what else, Mike, before we head out? Anybody else want to touch upon anything? I think we covered the roster with the preview, Evan Neal situation, trades. Obviously, everything was quiet. How about this, Mike? The Giants win on Sunday. They'll have a bye week. And then it's the Buccaneers. And then Dallas, which lost Dak, probably might be going on IR. I mean, I know guys want to lose games to get the higher draft pick, and that's fine. But if there's a game that you'd want to spoil, is the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, right, Mike?
Yeah.
If you want to
I
root
don't
against
care.
the Giants to
I
lose,
don't
at least
care. Let
beat
me
them
tell
on
you,
Thanksgiving.
yes, I don't care if it means the Giants are going to lose the number one pick. You got to beat Dallas. I would take it beating the Dallas any day of the week, or the Eagles. Like, those are the two teams that have just beat us up. It's like the bully on the block beating us up every time we go down to the store. We get beat up by the bully. He takes our money, takes our sneakers. I want to beat him. I want to beat him. I don't care about a first overall pick because that's never guaranteed anyway.
Never. We saw that with Andrew Thomas and Chase Young. Hey, Bill, thanks for stopping by. I know Bill said thanks for the show. Great. We'll finish up with this, Mike. Great question with Jay. And this has been a topic all week on all shows and all over the media. Does anyone get fired with a bad loss? I'll give you my thoughts. What are your thoughts, Mike?
No.
Why?
I just think that John Mara is going to be patient with them. I don't think he's going to fire anyone in season.
Yeah, and we heard John Mara say that a couple of weeks ago. He wants to keep a little stability, and I agree with you, Mike. I don't think he gets fired if they lose. Listen, end of the season, he loses the locker room, different story, which I don't think Dable will, but I think he's going to get a shot to get his quarterback, whether it's in 25 or it could be in 26. And the reason I say 26, from what I heard, Mike, and you know better than me, these quarterbacks may not be as good as the 24 draft. And if the Giants fall in that 7-8 range and they don't like the guy they want and they don't move up, we may be having a bridge quarterback this year and have to wait another year unless they do move up. So I think everything's up in the air, but I think they're going to get a shot to get their guy at some point.
Yep. And again, it's early now, and we're going to have our draft show come after the new year, and we're going to really, really focus on the quarterbacks this year, guys. We might donate a whole week to quarterbacks. We still haven't finalized anything, but I think it's important that we do, because I think that's the biggest position among Giant fans for this season, the quarterback position. So we're going to really focus on it.
Yeah, and Bill, just to address your point, I think in that case it was more the Eli thing with the uproar of starting Geno Smith in a lost season and canning Eli.
Yeah, I think that pissed him off.
Yeah, I think that was more of the Eli thing.
Pissed Mara off by him benching. Mara had no idea he was going to do that.
Bill,
that's
if it was
his boy,
right? Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Eli Manning is Mara's boy, and he loved that guy.
Right,
it was like a son to him.
Yep, for sure. And I think if it was Geno Smith and Daniel Jones, it wouldn't have mattered. Fine, play Geno Smith. I don't think that would have made a difference. And the you know what wouldn't have hit the fan so quickly.
Sure did.
Yeah, we did. All right. Let's just go through a couple of these before we head out. We don't have enough talent in the corner position. Oh man, Cole, that's going to be addressed. I mean,
we're going to address that definitely, Cole. The first couple of picks. You're right.
I mean, I'm looking at next year as Banks as the 2. Like, I don't even, he's too up and down. So I'm not even, we need a veteran. Like,
there are a few handful of good, solid cornerbacks in this draft. I will say that.
Yeah. Depending on where the Giants, these needs are, maybe, and I'm looking forward to your cornerback position, Mike, when you break those down. That'll be interesting. All right. I think that might wrap it up. Anything else, Mike, before we bid farewell?
Nope. Giants are going to shock everyone. They're going to dominate this football game.
We're going to shock the world. We're going to shock Munich, Germany. You're going to see all those blue jerseys. It's like propaganda in Germany. They have no idea the Giants are 2-7. They're not allowed to go on social media and watch all the Giants sites. For all they know, they're pushing the Giants are 7-2. They don't even know.
Yeah.
But it will be cool to see a lot of blue jerseys because hey, those fans over there, they take on to teams, and the NFL is trying to gear certain cities with certain teams. So, it is cool to see some of these foreign places with fans with Giant jerseys on, because all they know is losing, right? They may have not been following the Giants that long ago. Maybe it was after 2011, and the Giants have been bad. So I give those fans credit by sticking with the Giants, even though they're in these losing years and they don't know much about the history of the organization just yet, but they've latched on. So we thank those fans sticking with them.
And I know one thing. I bet you Shane will be. He'll be probably. I bet he'll take the family with him because you know who's going to be there with the Carolina. His one of his best friends, the other GM.
Yeah, Dan Morgan. Dan Morgan.
Yep. They always go on vacation together as a family, so maybe they'll use this as a vacation with them too.
Yeah, how ironic. They're both 2-7 and they're both questioning their jobs. That'll be a conversation. Hey, how you feeling? You feeling all right? How you feeling? You feeling all right? You know what I mean? Two GMs that aren't faring well right now. But all right, cool. Well, listen, everybody, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time kickoff, which I think is great because the Giants are 2-7. You'll have your whole Sunday afternoon.
I gotta write this down. I'm gonna forget.
Yeah, you'll Mike, they're playing in Germany. You can't forget. You know this. You got 9:30.
I'm working Sunday, so I gotta make sure I gotta put that.
Put it right on the phone. Put the red zone on after that. Do your stuff you got to take care of, and you got the whole day to enjoy. And God forbid the Giants lose, you got the whole day to get over the loss and soak it all in, or soak in a win too. So, but all right, everybody. Listen, we'll see you Monday with the regular show. NY Giants Rush will be on Monday with the crew. And we'll be back here next. Actually, it's a bye, so we'll probably skip next week, Mike. We'll skip the we'll skip the preview.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we probably will.
Unless something happens, unless somebody gets fired, maybe then we'll.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, everybody, against the Bucks. So that'll be hopefully a win.
After a win, yeah.
After a win would be nice, but all right. Well, we'll catch you Monday with the regular crew on NY Giants Rush. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the NFL football this weekend.
All right, take care, everyone.